there, and welcome. Well, it's Friday, so it's time for an anomaly. This anomaly is actually a pretty simple one and a pretty happy one. When I first started teaching, the school I taught at required teachers to initial these little paper forms when a student came back from being absent, like the next day. We were to initial these little forms, and they took these forms to the office and they recorded the data from these forms. This was before computer tracking of attendance was used. It was data entry. It was hand entered into databases. So I started out as a math teacher, and the head of my department was a woman named Edna McClung, who happens to have the same initials that I did. And so the office contacted me and said, you're going to need to find a way to initial things that's a little different than Mrs. McClung, because we want to be sure that we have the right teacher's information recorded for each kid when they come back from their absence. Okay, so I had to come up with a new initial, which wasn't as bad as I thought it was going to be, because it sparked something in me, because one of the teachers in our department was named Dave Million. His last name was Dave Million. So the way he initialed forms was just writing the number 10 to the 6th. Now the math geeks out there are going to know that that is one of the numeric ways to express the number a million, 10 to the 6th. And I thought that was wicked cool. He was handsome. I mean, he would never have noticed me in all his days, except he was kind of a funny guy, and we were in the same department, so we ended up being friends, but I was nowhere near the level of gorgeous that he would have required to notice. But I noticed him, and even more than his good looks, I noticed that initial, and I just thought it was cool. And so when they said come up with a new initial, I sat down and looked at my name, and a flash of light came upon me. My first initial is E, and my last name starts with M, little c, big C. So if I were going to state that mathematically, it would look kind of like EMC squared. And that only needed the equal sign between the E and the MC to make it to the formula for Einstein's special theory of relativity. And I thought, oh, that's it. That's the one I want. Now, in Einstein's formula, it's a small e equal sign, small m, small c, and the exponent 2. In my initial, it's capital E equal sign, capital M, small c, and exponent 2. That became one of my markers. That was a brand for me. And I'll be honest with you, I really love that started the first year I taught, because I think it's a good idea for teachers to develop these little touches of identity in their work. Teachers need to be just a tiny bit, just the tiniest bit like celebrities. I know that sounds crazy, but the thing is, especially a small community, I don't know about urban communities, I don't know about really big communities, I know small communities. And in small communities, teachers become kind of like a celebrity, because the children and families discuss teachers when they're not around. They gossip about them. They discuss their classes. They discuss how they do the homework. They share about experiences. And so if you can, as a teacher, develop your own little brand, it can help you interact with students in a way that's not so formal, and at the same time gives them a kind of a delight in their experience with you. I know it sounds a little dopey, but I highly suggest looking for your emblems. I had a fellow teacher whose emblem was the panda bear, and so she had in her office lots and lots of little panda bears. It was really cute. I had another teacher friend whose emblem was the rhinoceros, so there were lots of little rhinoceros symbols everywhere. Deborah, who I interviewed, collects elephants, so when I see a little collectible elephant, I always think of her, whether I purchase it for her or not. And my little totem, my personal totem, is the buffalo, the American bison. And it's something I gathered when I was very young. In fact, Mr. Nix, one of my favorite teachers in junior high school, was the one who suggested this personal totem. That's what I suggest for you. If it's not your initials, come up with a little object or animal or character that you feel is your little totem, and allow it to be known to your little students, because it gives you a sort of brand and a mystique. And there's nothing like having a little mystique when you're dealing with young people. That's it for today. I hope you have a fabulous rest of the day, and I hope you tune in for the interview tomorrow. You gorgeous people.